Good evening, everybody. I'm Powdah P. This is your boy Jrod, and this is all around the CHL. Sorry, excuse me, around the CHL, the new show brought to you by the media team here at LeagueGaming.com, and we're going to basically be breaking down all things happening in the CHL. You guys have probably seen the AHL shows, the NHL shows, and anything else that goes on around this league. Well, this is coverage for you guys and for you guys to basically enjoy your time a little bit more here at the in League Gaming. Every week, Sunday, 7:30, we're going to be kicking this off. We're going to do till about 8:15, 8:20, 8:30, depending on what's going on, what the conversation's all about. But obviously, we want to make sure you guys have time to get to your games as well. So without further ado, let me just introduce to you my co-host. That's Jrod is awesome, and probably my best friend here at League Gaming and mediocre defenseman. What's up, Jrod?
Yeah, I suck, dude.
All right, go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I've been in the league now. This is the second year, and after Powdah begged me for 4 weeks to take over the AGM spot with him last year for Everett, I did. So I understand the issues you guys face. Can't wait till the call-ups really start. I'm from Detroit, 32 years old. Let's do this to have fun.
All right, yeah, I hear you, man. I'm here for fun. I like to do the video stuff. I like to make the league a little bit better and a little bit more exciting for everybody else. I know that's your goal too. This makes it a little bit more exciting, get you a little bit more involved. Before we go any further into the show, let me just throw this out there. We are in the process of producing actual power rankings for you guys. Right now we have all the WHL teams covered. We're still looking for other people that want to help write for the Q and any other teams that happen to pop up throughout the season, because right now with the way the standings page looks, things can look a little confusing as to which teams are active and which teams are just, place fillers. With that being said, Jrod, what do you think about how did preseason go for you, and what's your impressions of preseason?
Preseason's really laid back, I guess. It's a lot of people not showing up. Still didn't have everybody sign up for games and whatnot. But at least to get you chemistry going, get some flow going with a few lines on your clubs.
And what team are you with currently?
Kamloops.
Kamloops, the Bacasmo dynasty.
That's about it.
Yeah, well, they're my favorites to win it all right now, and you guys that can be the first time it goes into some kind of official form that it was said here first. Kamloops for the title. Now, Kamloops apparently just picked up Preseason.
That is correct.
All right. Now, this is a topic we always have to talk about because he's in the center of everything, and it would be foolish of me not to talk about it. It's like the NFL Network's going to cover Johnny Manziel because he's Johnny Manziel. Breck, you got some talent, but for some reason you pop up all over social media. Now, with his $9 million contract, what are the challenges ahead of Cam? What is Kamloops giving up to get him, and how are they clearing up all this cap space?
Well, as of right now, they're actually over the cap.
I saw that they're at $26 million right now. So obviously it's either two guys getting traded out or whatever. But they got some fairly high salaries over it on their roster. I mean, including your own.
My own, yeah.
You're at $4.25 million. But are there any big moves that that you know of, or you're at liberty to talk about?
There's stuff in the works. I'm assuming I'm on the block. I'm assuming I'm getting moved. There's a lot of D-men. There's a surplus of D-men on the team right now.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, I think you're the highest. Yeah, you're the highest paid one right there. So I mean,
I am.
And besides, actually, you're the highest paid player on their roster, with the exception of Preseason.
I am.
Now you've played against Preseason, right?
I have.
And we know he has talent.
He's got a ton of talent. Can't take that from him.
All right. Now, 4 teams in 1 week of preseason he's been a member of. He's played 1 game, had 4 points. Is Kamloops going to be a fit for him, or is Kamloops going to be just another stop along the CHL tour for Preseason?
I think Preseason finally made it to the spot he wanted to be at. He's a great talent. He's not going to be somebody that goes to a mediocre team and wins the cup for him, but now that he's surrounded with all the talent he can hope for. I don't. Sky's the limit for them right now.
Yeah. I mean, going off of what I saw from last year with all his roster transactions and moves and whatnot, as well as what's going on so far this season, I'm afraid for Bacasmo, and I'm worried that he might go into a downward spiral with this team with Breck Easy on the roster. Not saying he's the fault for anything, but according to Breck Easy, it's never his fault either. So,
yeah, I really do think he's where he's going to be happiest. So I don't think there'll be any more of the get me out of here. I don't want to be here. You guys don't deserve me type of talk. I think he's where he wants to be.
All right. Now, we'll just get off the whole Breck Easy subject. It's a non-issue for the rest of this episode. Hopefully next week he provides us with new bulletin board fodder to get us going. Any predictions early on for you here in the CHL? What? Don't say Kamloops either, because I know they have the talent. But if you had to say one team's going to challenge them in the CHL on the W side, who would it be?
Well, look at the Wheat Kings. I think they went 8-1 the preseason.
That's a tough stat to look at. They had some guys play a few extra games, but as well as forfeit wins and stuff like that. I can't really judge people just off of that. But I mean, as an AGM last season, you have a good eye for talent. Are there any names on there that makes you think they have what it takes?
I don't know. I want to be traded to them.
Well, don't void your own trade request by talking about it too much. I don't want you to get in too much trouble here. Did you saw Seb's post in the thing about the draft, right? Everybody knows we had the TC draft. For those of you who weren't involved in it, it was a 9-hour spectacle of player rights being drafted. This wasn't the players that are going to be starting. This wasn't the players that are getting the big bucks. These are just the players that are sitting on a bench waiting for that magical call-up. Now, some teams, they filled out their roster and were able to pick up some valuable pieces. However, what was your overall impression of the draft?
I do think that it gives the management of teams a little bit more control of their team, and I get that. I think it can be refined. Definitely took too long, but it gives the control to the owners like they want, which is a good thing. It all depends on how call-ups are going to happen, and at least they got the replacements they want once they do lose some of their original talent that they bid on.
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty cool because I know our GM was kind of throwing it out there to us as to, hey, do you know anybody that plays? Do you know anybody that's good? You know any wingers? You know any D-men? You know any goalies? Whatever. So I got to kind of scroll through that list, and I saw a lot of names from last year that had successful runs either in the CHL or AHL, and now they're either on a team or they still got passed over because there were still a few names. Do you think the pick should have been they should have kept it to 2 rounds, 3 rounds, or do you think they should have just cut the time down?
I think they should have just cut time down. Maybe 5 minutes for the first 2 rounds, 2 minutes for the rest. The guys who really want to take control of their team, and you'll see the management that really wants to be in control, will be there and stick through it and get their picks out the way. The guys that don't, be auto-picked and move on with it,
Yeah, I was surprised really to see the teams that just completely blew off the draft and just said, screw it, I'll get one guy and then call it a night. There was enough talent in that draft that if you did about 18 seconds of research, you would have found somebody that had some kind of sixes experience, somebody that's won a title, people that have all kinds of hockey knowledge that were all over this draft, and some teams were still just throwing this out the window like it was no big deal and they'll figure it out later. What are some of the positives you like from the draft besides here, we'll start with some names. What are the big names that you saw drafted, and where did they, if you know where they went?
Well, I'll start off with you guys. I played with Unwanted last year, and he was a right winger, and he was pretty good.
Yeah, Unwanted Hero V3. He's a winger that knows the game and can feed anybody. Was there any talks of Kamloops going after him?
No, upper management here at Kamloops kept a pretty tight lip, and they went after what they wanted to go after.
Oh, that's actually a really good policy because it keeps the loose lips sink ships, right?
That's right.
Yeah, just going over Seb's list here. He kind of highlighted some names, but I'm gonna go with some of the later picks. 144 overall, 37 Fox 413. Apparently, he's got a good attitude, and he plays solid hockey, and at least enough to play in the CHL. Not familiar with him myself, but Seb's opinion is obviously a valued one here at LG, and if he's commenting about some of these people, they got to have at least a little bit of a talent. There was no 200th pick, which we all would have loved to have made a running joke for the rest of the season about you were the last pick in the TC draft.
Mr. Irrelevant, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Irrelevant. Tom Brady was close to that pick once. But the 4 pick, we had Bobrovsky. He went to... My thing's loading here, so bear with me, boys. Saskatoon Blades. I think it's going to be a good pickup. Not sure if it's going to be a good fit, but at the very least, it's a free pick that they got to get. All right, let's get away from the draft. We'll go back to some of the strong teams. Any teams outside of the WHL that you think people should be worried about?
Well, the problem with the teams outside of the WHL seems like their management wasn't all there the whole way through. But there is one, and I'm loading too.
Yeah, well, for me, it's the Titan. That's Hamilton's team. I scouted for him. He has a good grasp on what's going on. However, he was also a victim of Mr. 9 Million.
Yes, he was.
So I'm wondering if that was just an experiment, if he picked up some pieces in return. I just don't know if he's going to be able to keep up his hands-on management style where he's been on the boards, checking the waiver wire day in and day out. Some of the teams that names are thrown around on Twitter, Moncton Wildcats. I'm not sure if that's how good that team is, but they got Darku, who was a big-time goal scorer last year. I want to say Ottawa 67s, but they also have J Dizzy 215, Philadelphia fan, D-man that played for Everett last year. I don't want to speak badly upon him. However, he can play defense, but it's his way or the highway. So, good luck.
The moving pylon.
All right, you want to call him a pylon? I'll just say he clears the puck just fine, but that's about the end of that. They also got CJ Wagon, who we all know was a big time bidding guy, and I think Moncton could be a team that does well, but it's going to take a lot of practice for them to get the chemistry where it needs to go. They lost to the Olympiques last week, or the Olympiques, I don't know how the Frenchies say it. And they also lost to the Foreurs, and according to some of this, it looks like they took a lot of forfeit losses and a couple forfeit wins. Obviously, the way the preseason was laid out, nobody's going to be able to really pull off a successful preseason run. Did you guys experience any forfeit wins over in Kamloops?
I think we did get a forfeit when we played it as a scrimmage. We also have a couple forfeit losses that we've scrimmed. We won the games, but it was still a loss for us. I guess preseason, some people didn't take it as serious or as important as others, and didn't either post availability or show up.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the rostered players didn't take preseason seriously enough. They kind of just looked at it as, oh, this is just for fun. This is just like the beginning. This, that, the other thing. But now, hopefully, players realize that 8:30 and 9:30, those 2 times, 3 times a week, are the nights where you need to be on the ice. This isn't just for the casual hockey gamer. This is like, these people are the hardcore guys that want to see 6 people on the ice at all times. They set their lines for that. For GMs, this is fantasy hockey at its finest. This is being able to maneuver these pieces, and these pieces aren't going to fit if they're not showing up. All right. Besides Moncton, I'm kind of looking at some talent over here. We got the Screaming Eagles. That's Mahoney's team. I've heard some good things. Haven't played them yet. I wish we did get a chance to play, but they got what was it? Big Pun 1985 lefty. I believe I played a couple games with him earlier in scouting. I can't confirm nor deny that, but I believe that's what it was. And then obviously over at the Armada Sky Shark 32's team, another team that people keep kind of throwing at me on Twitter and in direct messages on LeagueGaming.com. Sorry guys, bear with me a little bit. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm not going to let that stop me. And then the other team is the Drummondville Voltigeurs, and that's Colonel 20's team. This guy has been absolutely like beast moding, bidding, scouting, and everything like that. He's been all over watching these shows. Doesn't look like he's got too many of the big name players, but looks like he spent just enough money to keep the overall salary cap low, $16.5 million. May start off slow, but he's got the wiggle room to kind of make some moves here in the league.
Yeah.
Any other teams, WHL, QO, whatever, what team besides Kamloops and Brandon do you see as the one that sticks out?
Yeah, I think that Red Deer might end up getting lucky.
Well, I think Red Deer already got lucky, but that was just off of freeing up some salary cap. Right now, let me share everybody some rosters so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Get J-Rod's ugly face off the screen.
I'm the face of the league.
All right, now that you guys can see what I'm showing you. And they got Tatar as the GM and Datsuk as an AGM.
Right there, winger names. That's all you need to know. Red Wings players.
Oh, man. Just because you're a Red Wings fan, that has no effect on their ability. But no, Kerdog as a left D-man was $3.5 million. Don't forget they have Myers 57 in net. Whether these players are seen as overpriced or whatnot, but according to preseason, Myers had a pretty solid week. Went 3-3, 85th overall in the league according to LeagueGaming.com. His 3 losses were one was to the Blades, the Seattle Thunderbirds, and the Lethbridge Hurricanes. It's only preseason, but for 3-3, you really can't ask for much more. 2 of those games were at right D, win and lost there, so he still split his goalie time. All right.
Keep looking at their training camp. There's a player down there that if they can get to play, can make a difference for their team.
And let me pull it up here as it loads. All right, Red Deer. And for their training camp, if I think there is, it's number 31 on their roster, Flores, I9I. He's actually J-Rod's cousin. Nephew, excuse me. If he does show up to play, that's probably the biggest steal. His talent easily matches Breck Easy's, but getting him to play. Kovu94, he's on my friends list, so I know I've played with him at one point. Hopefully the reason I don't play with him much anymore is because he's not good, but I doubt that's the case.
Look at, they got Barra, too.
Where we got? What number?
Barra, he's all the way down. Goalie, their goalie.
Okay, Barra X29. Okay, this is an $8 million player. I don't know. I'm assuming that was part of the Breck Easy deal, but he's all the way down at the bottom of their roster. So that's $8 million. I don't know if it has hit their cap. Obviously, it hasn't at 14 mil. But that's a big name goalie to be having just sitting down there in your training camp. So you may think they got some talent there. I don't want to say they do or don't. However, $8 million in your training camp is a tough thing to really look at. All right, we're going to move on to our matchup of the week. This is it right here, and me and Jrod, we talked about it because we do feel that Portland is one of the stronger teams in the WHL, led by Archie, as everybody knows. But Wednesday, 8:30, live streams right here. All you have to do is click on the matchup on the schedule, and you guys can get in there. There'll be a live feed where you can stream, chat, all that cool stuff over on Twitch TV, and the link will be there. So, and that's for everybody else too. If you guys have capture cards and stuff like that, get your game streaming on the thing if it's feasible. The more stuff people can see, it's like watching game film. You can learn something from each game you watch. You can take a little bit of something from watching your opponents play other opponents, or let's just say Portland can pull this one off, which they already have the one vote here. And maybe we can learn something on the way Portland plays Kamloops. But solid goaltending in Portland, and if Archie does play that game, he very well could upset them. All right, so since this is our matchup of the week, what I want to do now is we're going to place our vote together here. And do you think going to Kamloops, or do you think we should give the upset to Portland?
Until proven otherwise, I'm going to have to go with Kamloops.
All right. Are you playing that game, or are you kind of in limbo right now?
I'm up in the air right now.
All right. Well, hopefully you get some games in this week, because I'd hate to have you on the show and then you have to sit out all week and then wait until next week to do another show and have nothing to talk about except how mad you are.
Yeah, I can let it fester all week, get nice and upset next week, and be very colorful.
All right. That would be rather interesting. All right. Since this is week one, we don't want to get too far into depth with teams just yet, because with all these new players we don't want to sit here and say, oh, this team A is the greatest, team A is the worst. I mean, we've done it a little bit, but we want to get a little bit more basis. What that means is when stats get put in by the GMs, get them done quickly. The quicker they get done, the more stuff we can look at when we do our shows, things like that. For those that are interested in media, contact me. I got plenty of things that could use some help. It's going to be a lot of fun this season. This is just the beginning, and as of right now, there's 4 or 5 other projects coming along that will be delivered to you guys as a community. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and just click subscribe while you're on LeagueGaming.com. Follow me on Twitter. Feel free to hit me up whenever. Jrod, what's your Twitter handle?
Jeez, something like I am awesome 313, I believe.
I will tweet out his link after the show. Everybody can kind of go check him out. He'll have one of these cool little bar thingies, right, that I have next week, and things will be good. Feel free to shoot your suggestions my way. And everybody, good luck in week one. It should be exciting, and I wish everybody the best of success. But keep in mind, only one team can win, and someone's got to lose. So keep your heads out there, and play your hearts out. Take care. And